then seeing Hyunwoo beat his ex with produce, chef's kiss. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll be discussing Farming for Love by Tarang. And this review is thanks in part to those of you who took part in my poll. This was the winner of the poll. City Boy goes country and meets hot farmer. And if you'd like to help decide what gets reviewed next, go ahead and subscribe, get your BL Library card for the BL Library, and be on the lookout for my community posts with polls. Before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled on this manhwa, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. For those of you who decide to stick around, let's go over some content warnings. There may be references to mentions of car accidents, death, age gap, breakups, not between the main couple, cheating, not between the main couple, commentary on body size, excessive drinking, classism, slut-shaming, violence, depression, overwork, non-con, blackmail, sextortion, and blood, as these things do appear in the manhwa. But if that's all good with you, let's go and get started. Lee Hyunwoo is looking for a change. For a long time, he wasn't worried about relationships. He'd get into one and then break up within a short time frame, flitting from one romance to another without much care. But then, after joining a large city hospital as a pharmacist, Hyunwoo met Dr. Johan. The two had instant chemistry, and Hyunwoo fell harder than he ever had before. Their relationship was long-lasting and probably would have gone on for even longer until Johan presented him with a proposition. Johan plans on marrying to advance his career. It's an entirely contractual relationship, and his future wife has a lover of her own. Johan wants to keep seeing Hyunwoo on the side, but Hyunwoo has no intention of being a secret side piece. So, as soon as he can, Hyunwoo leaves Johan, quits his position at the hospital, and takes over a closed pharmacy out in the country instead. It's a massive change, but it's just what he needs to refresh and get over this horrible breakup. Unfortunately, his first day in the country doesn't start off so well, as he gets his car stuck out in the mucky roads against a tree. Thankfully, a cold but helpful man named Do-won comes to save the day, though not without damaging Hyunwoo's car in the process. It's not a pleasant interaction, but Hyunwoo doesn't plan on interacting with the young man again. But for whatever reason, Do-won just keeps showing up. He brings produce, just comes in to check on Hyunwoo, and is generally a nuisance. It's clear that Do-won likes Hyunwoo, but Hyunwoo does not intend to reciprocate those feelings. Until a drunken evening together, when they end up sleeping together. Hyunwoo sees it as a one-night stand, but Do-won sees it as their first night together. Will these two ever get on the same page, or will Hyunwoo be forced to run away from another awkward relationship? I have to admit that I was ready to go in on this as a lesser, smuttier version of Love Tractor, but I am happy to say that I couldn't have been more wrong. The art isn't as good. This is much sketchier and inconsistent, all in black and white. Plus, the character designs aren't as attractive, but the art isn't where this shines. However, we're not talking about the story right now. We'll get there, but let me finish talking about the art. Our innocent top Do-won is the funniest looking out of the group. Everyone has pretty long faces, but the longer hairstyles help to balance everything out. Unfortunately, Do-won has a short haircut, which makes him stand out in a bad way. I wouldn't say he's ugly, but the style is already not the best. Add on a poor design, and Do-won suffers the most throughout the story. It's not horrible, but it's not the best either. If you're looking for perfect art, this isn't the one for you. But, like I said, the art is not why this is a really good nugget of BL. At only 28 episodes, including the side stories and epilogue, I wasn't expecting much. And, as expected, the story is pretty simple. However, the characterization is awesome in this series. Hyunwoo, though heartbroken, is spicy and prickly. He has no problem putting his foot down and being very forthcoming, and I found myself loving all of his little quips and frustrations. Similarly, Do-won comes off as cold and aloof, but he's actually very innocent and sweet. He's not very good at expressing himself, but it's so sweet and heartwarming when he does. When we see him crying, the strong, stoic, and beefy country boy in the hospital over his grandfather, he just melts the heart. And that weakness is what makes Hyunwoo fall for him too. These two are very much opposing characters personality-wise, but it's because of that they work so well together. I'm a sucker for opposites attract, and this is it. Now, this does have multiple couples. The main story is, of course, between our sweet green flag country boy and his prickly pharmacist. But the core of the side stories is focused on the ex, Johan, and his red flag college boy. I must emphasize that the main story is very fluffy with very little drama and focuses on Hyunwoo steadily being wooed by our innocent boy Do-won. It gave me all the fluffies, and I absolutely cackled as Do-won assumed they were in a relationship after sleeping together, while Hyunwoo tried to let him down easy, only to be lured into bed by Do-won. Then seeing Hyunwoo beat his ex with produce, chef's kiss. If you love the mood and tone of this, the side stories with Yohan and Dongjun might shock you. Thankfully, if you're just here for the good times, you can skip the side story and epilogue altogether and avoid all the red flags. However, if you're like me and like red flags just as much as you like green, you get the best of both worlds when including the side story. Honestly, I'm a big fan of red flag assholes getting put in their place by another even bigger asshole. And as a fan of non-con content, this also ticks that box. Again, if non-con and dub-con aren't your thing, the side stories are not for you. But what really works with this pairing of a chibbo college kid topping and dominating our doctor is that it is both tearing down the doctor's cockiness, but also fulfilling what he was trying to achieve all along. Yohan wanted a boyfriend with Hyunwoo, but he also wanted the money and comfort that came with marrying a woman to advance his career. He lost both, and then was topped by someone he saw as less than him, since Dongjun is just a punky college kid as far as he's concerned. But, as it turns out, Dongjun is a chaebol who plans on building Yohan his own hospital, and all Yohan has to do is submit himself to Dongjun. It puts him in his place, but still fulfills his desires, and I found that immensely satisfying. With all that being said, this was a pleasant surprise. Again, I fully expected a poorer, smuttier version of Love Tractor. While it is undoubtedly smuttier, it is so very different and impossible to compare beyond the foundation. A city boy goes to stay in the country and meets a country boy. In that way, they're identical, but once you get into the story and meet these characters, they couldn't be more different. You get the light and the dark, the humor and the tragedy, and you get the smut too. Those who like Love Tractor won't necessarily like this, and for some of you, the main story will be a win while the side story will be a miss. I ultimately loved all of it. I wouldn't call it a favorite, but I will remember it fondly. So, have you read Farming for Love? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know in comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!